Finally tonight, challenge events abroad have become huge money makers for charities, but many of them have now been shut down because of the coronavirus emergency. Now a lot of the money raised by these charities really goes to helping a lot of young people who are vulnerable. So a couple of weeks ago, I met a couple of lads from Coventry who went on a journey themselves before any of this hit, and it was a trip that really taught them a lot about their heritage. Lots of us do our bit for charity. We are a nation of givers.
Let's see how much you've raised. There we go.
But this was hardcore fundraising with very real risk.
It was really unsafe for us. There was sheer drops, and there's signs everywhere saying watch out for tigers, elephants, leopards.
The first time either had ever been to India.
It's the word culture shock. I did not know it could be so shocking, basically.
Learning more about their parents' homeland and finding out about themselves too.
It was physically challenging, it was mentally challenging, but the other part of it is that you have humanity. You have other human beings that you live a much better life.
I'm trying to imagine a charity road trip of more than 1,000 miles where just about the only thing familiar is driving on the left, usually. And it's all started and finished in one of these babies, an auto rickshaw. With 3 tiny wheels and a top speed of 40 miles per hour, this is what our fundraisers drove. It's pretty much perfect for weaving through traffic in hot bustling city centres, but not known for comfort. I've got to admit, if someone told me to drive 2,700 kilometres, this is not the first mode of transport I'd be thinking about. Harry Kuman and Jazz Dami are lifelong bezies.
We obviously went to nursery together, went through primary school, secondary school, sixth form. So we can't really get rid of each other now. Like, you know when you're so far in, you can't get out. No.
God knows we tried.
Born in Coventry, their only experience of India was second-hand through family stories. What about your friends and family? What did they think?
So I told my grandparents, first of all, that I was going to do this trip. And my granddad's first bit of advice for me was, don't die and make sure you drink clean water. That's what he said. That's what he said, I'm not going to lie. Don't die. Is what he said to me.
All smiles now, but when you're more used to battling conditions on Coventry's ring road, Indian traffic was a full-on experience.
There's a lot of pollution in India. Didn't realise how much it affects that country, because we're quite lucky in the UK, I think. And
He was looking at the air quality on the maps and everything. So in London you can see it's around about 2, in Coventry it's about 1. Over in India, the further north you got, it got worse and worse. Because you're in a rickshaw, when the air's hitting you in the face, the pollution's, you're breathing in as well, there's kind of windows or anything like that. So it's all getting into your system. You can actually smell that, and you can actually distinguish the sort of chemical smell from the natural smell that India sort of produces.
They were part of a 90-strong team, many from the Midlands, driving 33-wheelers in a challenge known as the Rickshaw Run. The aim? To raise money to give deaf children cochlear implants and the chance to hear for the first time.
It was eye-opening to see the way that some children have to live, and without the help of these sorts of organisations, how they would live going forward.
In the light of the coronavirus emergency, charities will be understandably cautious about investing in hugely complicated events like this, involving foreign travel, and that's going to have a real impact.
You see all these children learning and you think, if it wasn't for these people, these organisations, SewaUK, then they'd just be kind of, forgotten about.
Dr. Harish Budia is from the Birmingham-based charity SewaUK, which handled all the planning, hoping to raise £100,000, enough to pay for cochlear implants, allowing around 8 children to hear for the first time. So why a rickshaw run?
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about transport in India? A rickshaw. Some of our participants are actually slightly disabled in their own ability, so they can't do other activities. So this is something that they could take part in. And what better transport than a rickshaw in India? Yep.
I'm really interested in the name Sewa. What does it actually mean?
Sewa means selfless service. So doing an act of good for somebody else without expecting anything in return.
British roads may have prepared the lads for dodging potholes, but Indian roads?
You have to be so vigilant on them roads. Like, there's cars coming and going, they're coming towards you, coaches, lorries, animals. I nearly hit a cow. But when you get on these tiny roads through villages, through a bit of like the countryside, there's just bumps, there's potholes galore. We think we have problems with potholes in the UK. Yeah, there's craters over there. There's proper craters over there. And there's no suspension.
Yeah.
So we're all, when one of us is driving, one of us goes brace, and we all sit up a little bit like that, and then we go over these massive speed bumps, and that's just to avoid injury.
But the hairiest moment of the trip was as they drove through the Biligiri Rangaswamy Wildlife Sanctuary. This time, it was Mother Nature they had to stay on the right side of.
You're going through about 22 hairpin turnings are on this mountain, and there's signs everywhere saying watch out for tigers, elephants, leopards. What the team had to do is hire experienced professional drivers to drive through the mountains, because it was really unsafe for us. There was sheer drops. There's no railings how there is here.
And those experienced drivers got them through safe and sound. And this was what it was all about. The chance to hear means the opportunity to learn to speak and vastly improve life chances.
I remember us going to actually meet the actual children we were helping and where the money was going to help with these cochlear implants for the young children. I mean, it is challenging, but it's a small price to pay to helping these young children be able to hear. So for me, that really helped me, and it spurred you on to finish the trip.
SewaUK joined with an Indian charity, Cochlea Pune, which works with deaf children.
Incidence is pretty high. There, 4 babies are born there when 1,000 deliveries take place. And only because they are not hearing, they cannot speak, and they cannot integrate it into normal society.
It's vital to give children a cochlear implant by their 6th birthday.
After the age of 6, they become absolutely normal, and they get to the normal schools and become a normal individual.
£100,000 was the target. So how much has been raised towards the cost of building a special hospital?
So we've raised, so far, money's still coming in, but we've got over £250,000, so which has been phenomenal, and I think it's taken everyone by surprise.
2,700 bone-jarring kilometres. So what did the lads make of their introduction to India?
It's been incredible to see India the way that I've seen it. But at the same time, I'll be happy to return to England as well.
I'm glad I went through it and got to experience India in such a unique way. It's been a real eye-opener. I feel happy that I've been able to take part in the trip and actually survive.
So what was that advice to Jazz a little earlier? Drink clean water and don't die? Granddads, they always know best, don't they? Their journey made me remember the time I was riding a rickshaw across Mumbai, but I'm not going to go into that just now. Anyway, that is your lot for tonight. Make sure you stay safe, and we'll be back with you at the same time next week. So until then, have a good one. Bye-bye.